Good evening. This is Carrie V. Dean for a Dullard speaking. Tonight, my main topic will be, yes, you got it, our favorite boy blunder, President Trump. Yes, I have a lot to say about him. And I'm going to spill my disgust of the kind of politician, I can't even say the word right, politician that he is. Because I want to laugh when I say it, because unlike Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, Mr. Trump got it into his head that him being a businessman, nope, he doesn't even say good businessman, but him being a businessman, that he could run this country. Well, he got enough backers and enough capital together to run for the office of president, just like he said he would underneath the Republican Party. And just like he said he would exploit them for the dullards that they are. And he did that quite brilliantly. And it's now has bitten the Republican Party in its behind so hard that even long-standing hardcore Republicans are considering just ditching the party and voting independent. And I say good on them for the ones who would do that. I say the same thing to any Democrats that have become so disenfranchised, such as myself, that will be voting independent of party. This two-party system definitely has never really worked, and now Trump has totally busted it. It's disgusting to find out that the part of our history books that they continually gloss over is the fact that there is really only one party in America, and that is of conservatives. And it's just a matter of what end of the spectrum you're on as a conservative. And that's all we've been voting for. So to try to say one gives you more freedom and liberalism and this, that, and the other. Oh, please. It's all a hoax. The whole thing. The whole thing is all a hoax, because in the end, it's only about one thing. Which white man can stay in power long enough to rule over this country? And as mad as I am about Trump winning and everything else, I have to look at the facts. We had no choice that it would be him that would win, especially after the BS he pulled January 6, 2021. Because one thing that's true and was written true many years ago about Americans is we love our villains. And what better villain than to be the president of the United States and turn the office into a dictatorship. Hey, you couldn't write a better movie of the week. So, just wondering, how long are we, the American people, gonna keep sitting around hoping some politician come and bail us out of the mess that we've gotten ourselves in this last voting cycle? Oh, that's right. Don't get me wrong, because I'm saying both sides voted their hate. They voted their hate. But the only problem is no one was listening to what was being said. No one was truly hearing what the real plan was, because basically they really didn't talk plans or policies or anything else. They did the same thing they're doing now. Talk loud, talk fast, toss out word salads, deflect, blame. Dismiss. Any talking points other than what Trump says. And that's basically what's still going on ever since he won office in 2016 till now. The same old stick. Talk long, talk large, talk fast. I'm sorry. But it works, and the reason it works is because most of us get frustrated and we stop listening at all, which during an election year was a big no-no. Even if you don't like the politician, better listen to what he's saying, because if you can't get your other people to understand what he's saying, chances are, and it happened, he's going to get in the office, and when he gets in the office and start pulling out all his executive orders and doing what he did, you're going, wait a minute, but he didn't say that on his count. Yes, he did. You just weren't listening to what he said. You were just hearing what you wanted to hear. He said he was going to get rid of the immigrants, and all of America just about lost their minds and went, oh yeah, start voting for him. But it wasn't as many of us voting for him as it was those of us that voted against him. Whether we voted for Kamala Harris or not, we just didn't vote. For those that didn't vote, that's what really hurt in the long run. So this next voting cycle, I hope you've been paying attention, because you just sitting around on your couch, we could wind up with more Trump-loving, booty-sniffling, spineless Republicans in chairs that aren't going to do a darn thing for the American people. Republicans only do stuff that keeps the wealthy wealthy, basically. They think that's what makes this country run. And they didn't learn their lesson from the last time, or the first time that they were trying that crap, and the American people had to bail them out with something called the Social Security Act. That's right. That's when we had to start paying taxes, folks. Because the wealthy were sending out bills that they couldn't absolutely pay. So we're going to make even a few little slaves that we're barely giving pennies to pay into taxes. That's right. So come payday, slaves would have their hands out waiting for that dollar and find out they only got 50 cents. Some might even found out they only got 25 cents. Why? Oh, well, because we had to pay taxes and we got to pass it on to you. You're living in this country. And it's been that way ever since. So it didn't matter whether you voted Democrat or Republican, you're still voting conservative, period. And that mentality of white man takes all is just ingrained in them. And people wonder why. Well, it's because most of them were not the wealthiest of the wealthies coming out of England and Britain. Most of them were lucky to have an indentured servant or two. And just wanted to start a new life somewhere else. Others of them didn't want to come to America at all, but didn't have a choice because the king had already put a bounty on their heads for whatever reason, and they were going to lose everything if they didn't leave. So guess what? I think I'd get on that ship too and come to America. They got here and did the same thing that had happened to them. Played nice until they decide we need to have it all. Yep, folks. That's how they colonize America. It's by coming in and trying to genocide a whole different nation of people. I should say peoples and different nations of peoples. Although they were all called Indians, there were different levels and different classes and different tribes, just like in any society. I don't know how many tribes there were originally, probably more than they tell us in the history books, but I think all but maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4, not sure, maybe 4 or 5 nationalities of Indians were wiped out. And that's all that's left of them, is maybe 4 or 5. Think about that. That's pretty sad. And then went into Africa and started bartering for slaves, and the Africans saw that that was, wow, we get to get real money, real gold. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute, we're sitting on lots of gold and stuff. No, their empires were greedy. They said, oh yeah, come on, go ahead. Take the lesser of our people, the ones that really don't contribute anything, and then went, wait a minute, you took all our good workers. Well, America's about to find out the same thing. got us in here. Now you're trying to deport everybody back out, including the new immigrants. Trying to deport them all, get them all back out of here, for whatever trumped up reasons you can think of. And say you're just keeping the cities and states safe. Really? Because the only punks that's been running roughshod over America haven't actually been non-white. That's right. So you have to think about that for a second. I mean, when you read in the history books, you were even doing wrong to your own people, backstabbing each other and everything else. So you want to talk about crime in a nation of people? Let's talk about that. How many women were burned at the stake because she thought they were witches? How many men because she thought they were warlocks? How many people got tarred and feathered because you didn't like the way they were living? How many people got called crooks because they wouldn't do business the way you wanted them to do business, and had all their riches taken away from them? Just think about that. And all in the name of religion, too. Yes. All in the name of God we trust. That's why it's written even on the back of paper money. And that, my friends, is where all of us in America have sinned greatly. So, no one group of people can be pointing a finger at the others. Well, you can, because you do, and we do it all the time. But in actuality, we're all in the same boat. Why do you think we're going through so much hell now with the Trump administration and how it is? Because we've all been risen up in this same little boiling pot, chasing the dollar. The more dollars I have, the better off I'll be. Oh yes, and to be good, you got to go to church every Sunday. But no one's following any of the true laws that meant anything within the Bible. They've rewritten it so much that the only parts that they hop on are the ones that pertain to how to retain riches. They just totally put blinders on the details in the process of attaining riches. So, yeah, that's one of the biggest, scariest things about Trump's administration is they've taken away all the guardrails and they're just running wide open and roughshod over every aspect of our lives. How we do business, when we can do business. And now, whether or not we can have an income based on whether we work the way they want us to work or not. A lot of people don't see it like that, but that's what it is. When you put out there it's okay for people not to be employed, whether they have the skill sets or not, just because they're not white, you pretty much are saying, yeah, because we want you to work out in the fields. We want you back out in the hot sun. We want you back doing all this back-baking work and not making enough money to pay for anything. Well, let's think about that. You call us lazy, then you say you want to put us out in the fields. If we're lazy, what makes you think we're not going to find shade trees to sit under them? Because I guarantee you, you try to bring back the whipping and the chains, you're going to find that you're going to end up killing all of us. Not some of us, all of us. Because in today's day and age, I don't know one single black person that's going to take to being hit with a whip and not pick up a stick or something and go upside your head. So, I don't know one single Hispanic person that it won't call out that special whistle and have the whole damn field coming after master with the whip. So, I think you better rethink those ideals, son, because you're living in a new day and age where people aren't taking disrespect lying down anymore. And you're going to keep, you think you're doing a good little runt with this sending the military in. Guess what? I'll tell you one place you haven't been back to, Brooklyn. Because you know you'd have to send more than a handful of little National Guard into Brooklyn. Because not just the black community, and not just the Spanish community, but you had the Anglo communities in all flavors coming after ICE for being in Brooklyn and screwing up their peaceful existence among each other. I'll tell you another part of California. So you went down to the nice part of California where there was barely hardly any crime. You didn't go to the heart of California, up near the Bay Area. Oh yeah, you tried to touch on the Bay Areas, but we don't be hearing too much out of the San Francisco and Oakland areas, too much about ICE bothering people too much. And mostly just down on the street trying to look menacing. Yeah, because you know the first time you lay your hands on somebody up in Oakland or somebody up in where people can see you, you will get, like you did in Brooklyn, the beat down of your freaking life. Because people that have had to live harshly could give a crap about you saying you're ICE. Okay? I'll tell you another part of California. We eat California. California was so riddled with crime, they even stopped reporting on how many people got killed over the weekend traveling through weed, trying to buy weed. So, if you want to clean up crimes, these are the areas I would tell you in California, from San Jose up to the San Francisco and beyond. Out through Wairika and Hornbrook to the border of Oregon. Yeah, well, you're not sending ice to any of those areas because some ICE agents would come up missing, and then their families would get to worry about what happened to them. So, all your tough guy act on some of us is just lost because we've lived in areas that we know have far more crime than the areas that you're picking. You're cherry picking, as you always are saying, since you like using that term. Yeah. But I digress on that. Because you're not going to stop until you find out. And I think you freak around with Illinois, and I think you're going to find out real fast just how quick crime happens when your National Guard shows up. Because that's all I've seen is everywhere you place the National Guard, that's where the crime shows up. So you're going to send punks in that haven't been battle tested with guns, rev them up with some BS about high crime and everything else. And if one black person gets touched and tackled the way you've been doing the Hispanic people in Chicago, oh, you better run. I don't care if you're National Guard, Marines, Navy, whoever you are. You better freaking run, because you're not just fighting one person now. You're going to be fighting the whole neighborhood. So unless you want to slaughter a lot of Americans on American soil, which is against the Constitution, then I say keep it up. Keep it up, because it's going to come to that. And once you start shooting American citizens, guess what? You're going to have every American citizen in town that owns a gun always carrying, always ready for ICE to pop up out of anywhere and nowhere. Just saying, that's what you're aiming for, that's what you're going to get. And while you have all of us fighting each other and using half the military around the country trying to put out fires before they get started, Putin's just going to step in and say, I'm taking over now, and there's nothing you can do about it because you're such a weak, pathetic man in the first place. Putin won't do that. Putin would do that. He's laughing now. He has you so much in his pocket. He's laughing now. He's telling the whole world that. I just saw a press thing that came out on the Indian news here on the internet while I was searching for world news that hasn't even been shown yet on YouTube or anywhere, of Putin exclaiming in his language that he even has a friendship with Trump. And he and all his oligarchs are sitting around the table just laughing, having a good old laugh at Trump, the mention of Trump's name. I didn't hear anything that sounded like respect around that table. And as a matter of fact, the photo that Trump's been holding up and so proud of, that's what they were laughing about. Putin's words were, "Oh, yeah, sure. I guess we could be friends. I'd send him this nice photo." That doesn't sound like a friend to me. That sounds more like yeah. I got you in my hip pocket, and I'm gonna keep you there. You're not gonna do nothing. And I don't know what to say for a president that gets you some fanboys the way he does whenever Putin is anywhere near the vicinity. Even if he doesn't get a chance to see hide or hair, I shouldn't say hair because Putin's mostly bald now too. You know, you know the saying. I'm sorry, I got myself tripped up here. I'm laughing so hard internally about the image I just got. It's sad. It's just sad. But one thing, rest assured, Mr. Trump, all bullies come to an end. And you can only bully people so far before they just don't care anymore. And when they see you, you're going to get hurt. Because they're tired of running. They're tired of being scared. Next thing is, like any wild animal, you should know this, since you white boys like to claim you're the big, great white hunters. When you get an angry animal trapped and you don't kill it, you become dinner. Okay? So, just be very, very careful. And you better start treading a little lightly on that dictator shit, because most of us Americans aren't going for it. On that note, have a very, very pleasant evening, rest of your evening, and enjoy tomorrow. Perhaps something good will break of this. On that note, this has been Carrie V. Dean for A Dullard Speaking, signing off.